Okay, guys, today we're going to draw the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Bob Ross. Okay, I have two versions of Bob that I have drawn here. One has a paintbrush in his pocket because he is that famous painter, and then the other one has a squirrel because, fun fact, Bob Ross always had a pet squirrel in his pocket while he was painting. So that's pretty cool. So today we're going to draw him, and you get to choose um, what you would like in his pocket. I can draw both and show you either way. So let's go ahead and get started. Your paper needs to be vertical, which means that your sides are taller and longer than the top and bottom of your paper. Okay, I'm going to draw with a Sharpie because it shows up better, but I need you to use a pencil in case you make a mistake. You can always erase. All right, here we go. Now, we're going to start with Bob's hair, okay? Bob has an afro. So what we're going to do is we're going to start kind of in the middle of our paper, about right there. I'm going to put a dot, and then I'm going to come over and put another dot, kind of in the same spot if I kind of mirrored my image here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a bumpy circle from this dot to this dot. Okay, so we're just going to come around and draw a bumpy circle. Now, if that doesn't make sense to you, or you want to do an easier way, you can, with your pencil, draw a circle, and then you can come back later and add the bumps. But I can't erase Sharpie, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw my afro right there. Okay, now I'm going to draw probably 3 or 4 more little hair pieces there just to kind of make it a little more circular. Okay, when you get this part, our next piece is we're going to start from where we stopped on the ends of the hair, and we're going to draw a big U. Okay, Bob has a goatee, and that's going to be the bottom of his beard. Okay, so from there, we're going to come a little bit above, like if we were to draw an imaginary line here, we're going to come just above that, and we're going to draw a long smiley face. Bob was a really happy guy, so we're going to draw a smiley face, and then we're going to close it off with a line. This is actually going to be his mouth. Okay, underneath his mouth, we're going to draw a little smiley face. That's going to be kind of like his chin, and that's actually really important to draw the rest of his beard. Okay, from the corners of his mouth, right here, from the corner of his mouth, we're going to draw a curve like a backwards J. So we're going to start here and we're going to end it right here on this curve. Okay, so we're going to start here, we're going to come down and curve it. Okay, perfect. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. This one can be a J. So we're going to start right here on the top corner of his mouth. We're going to draw a line down and come back. Oh, and I didn't touch it. There we go. All right, so there is the beard part. This is where his beard doesn't grow. So that's like his lip right there. Okay? Above, we'll do maybe a finger space above his mouth. I'm going to put a little dot right there. You can't really see it real well. There's my dot. And I'm going to draw another really loose, small smiley face. It's very similar to the one that I drew here. Okay, so I'm going to draw that. That's going to be the bottom of Bob's nose. Okay, from the bottom of his nose, kind of where our dot was, my dot's about right there, I'm going to draw a curve down to connect to the beard. This is making his mustache. Okay, so again, I'm going to draw it down just like that. Okay, so right there, there's his beard. Done. Okay, so from there, we've got the ends of our hair where our hair meets the beard. Okay, we're going to draw a curve that comes up a little bit past our nose, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, a curve that comes back past our nose. Now, this is going to be his cheeks, okay? And what we do to one side, we're going to do to the other side because our faces are symmetrical, especially when we're looking at them straight on, okay? At the end of this line, I'm going to draw a J, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing. My light's just flickered, sorry about that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This is Bob's ears, okay? Those are his ears. Now, his hair kind of comes over his ears. So what we're going to do, starting with the ears, we're going to make another J. Okay, so we're kind of just making J's all over the place. But I'm going to make another one right there. Now, this piece right here, that's his forehead. So I'm going to draw some waves to match his afro there. Okay, so there is Bob's face. Now, we have to add his eyes and his eyebrows. Okay, for his eyes, I'm just going to draw really long ovals. My eyes are kind of right next to where my ears would be. Okay, so there is where my eyes are going to be. Inside his eyes, I'm going to draw a big circle and then a smaller circle at the bottom. This just kind of gives the light point of our eyes. Like if we take a picture of somebody, sometimes we have those white spots in our eyes. And then you can always color that in. We'll color that in really quick. You can always save it for later as well if you would rather do that. Okay, there's his eyes. All right, now let's do his eyebrows. Okay, that's very simple. What we're going to do is above his eyes, we're going to do one curve and then a curve. And then above that, we're going to do another curve because his eyebrows are kind of thicker. Okay, so there's two eyebrows, and then we're just going to connect the two with a curve. Okay, last detail that we have to do, we're going to draw some lines on his beard because his hair may be curly, but his beard is definitely straight. So there's our beard lines, and that's Bob's face. Okay, we're going to continue and draw his body. About where the edge of his mouth is, I'm going to use my fingers to draw lines down. I'm going to draw a little line for his neck. Now again, this is a cartoon version. It's not supposed to look 100% realistic. On the bottom of his neck, I'm going to draw a V for his shirt. Okay, really close to his neck, I'm going to draw the collar of his shirt. Now, collars can be really tricky. Okay, so I'm going to start about right there, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line down, and I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Okay, right here where we started to V, I'm going to draw another diagonal that kind of comes out about to the same point as my first line that I drew. Then I'm going to connect them. And there's our easy shirt collar. Okay? From there, I'm going to draw my line down. This is going to be his shirt. I'm going to draw some buttons on the side. You can draw as many buttons as you want. Okay? And at the bottom of this, I'm actually going to draw a circle because that's going to be his belt buckle. Okay? So we've got the basic idea of his shirt down. Now we need to draw his arms and shoulders, or shoulders and arms, I guess. We'll draw his shoulders first. From our points right here, you're just going to draw a line out a little bit past where his hair is. Okay? And then we're going to draw a diagonal line down just like that. Okay? Now his arms are simple. From where we stopped, you just draw a line down. So where we stop, we're going to draw a line down. We're going to come down a little bit and draw another line. Come down a little bit. I'm going to try to make it even. Draw another line. Okay? Now, this is really high and it looks a little funny. I drew his torso a lot shorter than I meant to, but that's okay. Not a big deal. That would be where his belt is at if you drew his torso longer. On my examples, I drew it longer, but that's okay. All right, now let's get to his pocket. Over here on the right side of your paper, you're going to draw two lines. Then you're going to draw a V, and then you're going to close it off. Okay? I'm going to draw a little line there for the line of his pocket. Now, on this one, I'm going to draw a paintbrush, but I'm going to draw another pocket on this side and draw the squirrel in it. Okay? So to draw the paintbrush, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so that you can see it a little bit better. Okay, let me move my paper so that you can see it a little bit better. Perfect. Okay, for the paintbrush, we're going to start with 2 lines that come down because that's going to be the handle of our paintbrush. Now, above that, we're going to draw a funky letter S. Okay, we're going to start here at the top at about where that dot's at. I'm going to curve it around, and then I'm going to make a big curve here. Okay, so I'll do that again. I started here, I made a big curve down and around. Okay, so kind of a funky S. Then to connect it, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect my line. So that looks like my paintbrush kind of has a tip on it. I'm going to make a little wavy line here for the paint, and maybe I'll draw some lines on the paintbrush. Okay, that's super simple for the paintbrush. Now, if we're going to do the squirrel, I'm going to draw another pocket. Again, that's just 2 lines of V, and then you close it off. Draw our little addition here. Okay, the squirrel is actually really easy as well. From the pocket, you're going to draw a circle. Okay? Then you're going to draw 2 little circles on top of that for the ears. Dot for an eye. Dot for an eye. You can draw a little triangle, upside down triangle for the mouth or for the nose. And then kind of like the classic dog or cat mouth for the squirrel. Okay, for the squirrel's tail, we're going to start right next to the squirrel and put a dot. I'm going to swirl this dot. Watch how I do this. I'm going to try to keep my hand out of the way. I'm going to swirl it around, and I'm going to touch the squirrel's head, and then I'm going to put a little curve right there. Okay, so what I did again, I started with my dot, I swirled it, touched the squirrel's head, came back, and filled in the bottom. Now you can draw little lines on the squirrel's tail because it is a fuzzy little squirrel. Okay, and there you have it. There is the squirrel. Now you can do both. You can do one or the other. You don't have to have 2 pockets on your shirt, but if you want to, you absolutely can. So there is Bob Ross. What I would love for you guys to do now is to grab some colors and make him your own. Just like Bob always said, there are no mistakes. We make happy little accidents. So I hope you've had fun drawing Bob Ross. And if you want to color, add to your experience. Turn on some Bob Ross and just listen to his calming voice. And as he's drawing happy trees, you can color your Bob Ross.